Hello and welcome to Germany for round 7 of the 2022 Formula Virtual World Championship. My name is Bradley Down and I'm joined today by Harry Westwood.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Today then the driver will tackle 50 laps of this 4.6 kilometre circuit, 16 turns, 10 to the right and 6 to the left. It was Nick Addison who won out here last year for his first ever Formula Virtual victory. He won for Franklin. He'll have a struggle repeating that today for Arrow, but anything can happen. Let's take a look at how they line up. Then it's Enrique Ruiz in pole position once again, his teammate alongside him to mark an all-Matthew Porsche front row lockout. Klaas van Snelheid lines up in third with a late lap to put himself in contention. Alar Kanga goes for fourth, a great effort from the Estonian. He's on the soft tyre, will be looking to get past the front three early doors and make the most of that. Nathaniel Powers goes for fifth. Matteo Zatichi lines up sixth and will be hoping to follow Kanga through on the same strategy. Yukimi Takahashi in a great result for Arrow. He lines up P7, sort of best of the rest. James Vazquez goes from 8th in the first of the Ingram cars. Hunter Ryan lines up 9th out qualifying Giordano on a rare occasion. Maximilian Thunstrom completes the top 10 for Lucas. For Will Taylor it was another slightly disappointing session. He's just outside in 11th. Puccio Giordano goes alongside him on row 6. Brock Kidd out qualifying Halverson yet again. He lines up 13th. Nick Addison goes from 14th. He's got a long way to go to defend that race win. Johan Halverson lines up directly behind his teammate. He's got Finn Schneider for company alongside him on row 8. Felix Perez is the best of the first cars this weekend on the grid. He lines up 17th. It was a disappointing session, however, for Ingram. John Matten down in 18th. He'll be hoping to make progress on those hard tyres. Stefan Klein lines up directly behind his teammate. He starts 19th. And Alexander Zolia completes the top 20. Daniel Zientek out qualifying Zylander again in 21st. That's 2 out of 2. Tumo Kinnaman alongside him on row 11. On the back row of the grid we have Zylander himself and the second Westwood car of Jules Barkley. So as we go down to the grid then, it's Enrique Ruiz in pole position on the right, Adrian Simon alongside his teammate on the left. It's a long hold. The lights go out now then, we're racing in Germany. It looks like a great start from Ruiz. Simon bogs down ever so slightly. Klaas van Snelheid hasn't made progress though, and it's Ruiz who leads into turn 1. Simon with a big kicker as he exits turn 1 there. That's going to give Klaas van Snelheid a look surely as they head into turn 2. The Dutchman down the inside. Can he take second position from Adrian Simon?
Ooh.
Not quite, but he's going to hang it around the outside. Simon though holds on to the position. Ruiz streaking away into the distance. Adrian Simon second then. Klaas van Snelheid and Nathaniel Powers tucked up right behind as they head down to the hairpin for the first time. Alar Kanga looking to get involved as well. Kanga looking to the inside of Nathaniel Powers and he pulls out and he dives for it. Kanga down the inside of Powers and he's done Klaas van Snelheid as well. Alar Kanga from 5th to 3rd in one foul move.
That was beautiful there. He saw the opportunity and then I think under braking he just got a little bit surprised there by her early, obviously Simon and Klaas were braking there and just took the chance and managed to step up into 3rd there. So very, very good effort from the Estonian. Absolutely.
Alar Kanga obviously fired those soft tyres up very quickly indeed. Matteo Zatichi also on the softs in the Downton has not. He's lost a position off the grid to James Vazquez then. Takahashi also dropped a few spots. He's down to 9th position then. But it's Enrique Ruiz leading at the end of lap 1 by over a second from his teammate.
Yeah, pretty stellar start there from Ruiz. Obviously didn't look really to have the pace to match his teammate and in Klaas last race. He'll be looking to bounce back here. Obviously the home race for Porsche, not Porsche Mattershore, but Porsche, as Porsche Mattershore are still a French team, so they've kind of had 2 home races out of 3 races. But yeah, so Ruiz will be looking to put his foot down and sort of stamp his authority again within the team.
Absolutely, and I suppose technically they've had 3 home races in the last 3 races because they're still at the heart of it, they were still a British outfit based in France, but with a German manufacturer. So yeah, last 3 races have all been home races for the team that are leading this one then. But Alar Kanga looking very racy early doors here then, as this is a replay on board of the Estonian of his move on lap 1 then. And then we see, yeah, brakes late, and I think it just catches them out actually how slow they all are. He dives down the inside, and yeah, 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, thank you very much, says Alar Kanga. I'll have those. And he's really pressuring Simon here. Obviously, winner last time out. Simon just sort of struggling to stay with his teammate early doors, and Kanga taking the opportunity to really pile on the pressure to his former teammate, don't forget.
He absolutely is, yeah. As you say, Alarkanga all over Adrian Simon at the moment. Then they're settling in behind. Klaas van Schnauwheid in 4th, Powers in 5th, James Vasquez in 6th. Not really coming under an awful lot of pressure so far from Zatici, the Italian, just finding his feet. But he could do with clearing the Ingram fairly swiftly. Actually, I think Vasquez has made a couple of places off the grid. I don't think he was that high. And obviously he's made one past Zatici. But yeah, the Ingram not looked as though to have... There we go. So yeah, Vasquez made 2 places, but he's going to lose one of them now as Zatici does indeed go down the inside at the hairpin then. And finally the Italian goes through and back up to where he started then. I was going to say the Ingrams not looked as though they've had a considerable amount of pace this weekend, as evidenced by the fact I think Matson qualified well down the order.
Yeah, obviously he's actually, I think, moved up a spot or 2 there, I think, maybe on that, or he might just be where he started, but yeah, they've not really looked the, well, I said the cream of the crop, not even close. Obviously it's been a rough weekend for the British outfit there, especially considering that the likes of Phoenix and Lucas do look, well, I say Phoenix, Taylor is struggling here, but yeah, especially considering the positions that their rivals are in.
Yeah, it's not been the best of starts for Taylor, has it? As you mentioned, obviously slopped? He's not slopped anywhere.
Slopped.
He's slipped, however, 4 places from 11th down to 15th. And Brock Kidd has lost 4 spots as well from where he qualified. Despite being on the soft tyre, he's gone backwards from 13th to 17th. So a few guys not having brilliant starts out there today, as Alarkanga still stalking Adrian Simon, and Klaas van Schnauwheid sort of on the back of those guys now as well.
Yeah, so obviously it may just be a case of Simon not quite matching the pace there, although since about lap 3, look, the last couple of laps here, I think he's not actually lost too much time to, never mind, he just dropped half a second. Oh, that's just the timing screen, never mind, but yeah, he's not been as off the pace, so I think he just struggled to fire his tyres up a little bit compared to his teammate, but yeah, no, obviously nearing a 2-second lead out front here for Ruiz as we enter, what, lap 5 now? And yeah, looking good so far for Porsche Mattershore.
Yeah, it certainly is, isn't it? Adrian Simon doing a fantastic job here of supporting his teammate, backing the rest of the build up and letting Ruiz escape. But it's Matteo Zatici then on those soft tyres, now in a little bit of clear air past James Vasquez, who sets the fastest lap. And look, he's pulled 1.5 seconds clear of Vasquez in the lap already.
I mean, I know these super softs were strong here last year, but we are seeing that the softs definitely do have the pace here. Whether they have enough pace to make up for the pit stops, obviously we don't know a pit stop delta yet, but it does cut 2 corners this pit lane, so expect to see perhaps some relatively short pit stops, and we'll just have to wait and see if the pace delta that they have is fast enough to make up for that extra stop.
Absolutely, I think in clear air, definitely, but it seems it's proving a little bit tricky to overtake at the moment. Given the pace he showed earlier, I'd have expected Kanga to be through by now, to be honest.
Yeah, it's weird. He sort of rushed. Oh, it was a big snap over there, oversteer moment there, coming into the arena section for Kanga there. That was a really, really good save from the Estonian. But yeah, no, he really just raced right up to the back of Simon, and since then hasn't looked like doing anything. So I just wonder if, yeah, you can fire these tyres up quickly, but by the same token, they may just be overheating when you try and put too much into them. There's another fastest lap there for Zatici.
Yeah, it is indeed. The Italian banging in another one, and that's, I mean, I think the fastest lap previously that we saw from Ruiz was in the 13s, so there's a good bit more pace in these soft tyres. I think they just need a bit of clear air. I'm just imagining now if one of the drivers at the front had been on them, but here we go, Alarkanga looking up the inside into the hairpin, then on Adrian Simon. He's taking his time, and now finally, surely the Estonian goes through, and indeed he does. Kanga up into second.
Yeah, you got to feel like if Klaas had played that a little bit better, he might have been able to follow Kanga through there with an opportunistic move, but instead he's had to sort of settle into the wheel tracks there of Simon. Yeah,
absolutely, but he is right with the Frenchman. But yeah, look at that. You can see the pace of the soft tyre now then. Alarkanga already nearly a second clear, just a handful of corners later.
That is absolutely incredible pace, especially considering, in the nicest way, you know, the Porsche Mattershore is a much faster car than the Phoenix. It's won the last, what, 3 races? 2 races? 2 races. No, 3.
3.
South Africa, France, and Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that Phoenix is not on the same level either as well as these leading pairs. So yeah, definitely perhaps anyone that's on these softer tyres, if they can make the move stick and they can get in clear air, definitely one to watch.
Yeah, very much so. I think after the first pit stop phase will be the interesting one to see where these guys come out, you know, whether they do slot into clear air or not. Behind them there's a move, that's Maximilian Thunderstrom on James Vasquez. Then the Swede dives down the inside of the Colombian at the hairpin and moves himself up into P7. Behind we've got another move, and that's Finn Schneider on Johan Halverson then, as the Swiss driver elevates himself up to 13th.
Yeah, so it's odd. We're seeing sort of as we get through this opening stint, it's almost like the soft tyres are beginning to come back to the guys that had that early push there. They're just backed off and cooled the tyres a bit, and now they can go for attack again. And we're starting to see some overtakes happening from these softer tyred runners.
We are indeed, yeah. As they're getting into it, as you say, they're look as though they're coming alive. Up front, interestingly, Alar Kanga is pulling away from Adrian Simon at quite a margin, but not closing all that much on Enrique Ruiz. Ruiz doing a stellar job here to lap at the same pace as sort of the soft-tired runners, but on the medium compound. That's a great effort from the Brazilian so far.
Yeah, he's looking comfortable, he's looking settled in, so I think if he can just keep this up, because obviously if we're expecting these softs to make 2 stops, then we probably need them in by about lap 17. So that would be when the pit window opens, so he's already halfway there, and he's going to be very aware of that in the cockpit. Obviously these drivers, they're very switched on when they're... Oh, that was close.
Yeah, sorry, I just saw that at the last minute. Zatici sort of thought about that way too late, dived down the inside of Powers, found himself with not a lot of room all over the curb on the inside, and has lost them both a bit of time to Klaas van Snelheid there.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've got to say, as a driver, you would always rather the guy behind just sends the move if he's going to send it. There's no point in sort of half-assing as, whoa, another big snap there. There must be some kind of sort of marbling already, some marbles, or like the dirty sort of offline there affecting the drivers at that corner. But yeah, as a driver, you never want the guy behind to sort of make his mind up halfway through the braking zone. He needs to commit, he needs to decide what's going to happen, because just floating the front of the car there just into the apex in a half-assed way, that's like route 1 for making your way to an accident. You know, it's dangerous to do, and if Zatici keeps on doing it, he might find it bites him in the ass.
Yes, absolutely. It was yeah, I think a half-assed was a very good way to describe that move. Let's have a go again then, on board with the Italian. He's gaining all the time, and this time he's committed early to the move, and down the inside of Nathaniel Powers goes Matteo Zatici then, and the Italian moves himself up into 5th position.
Did you see how what's interesting there, where Powers was sort of offline a bit there, wasn't quite on the apex, but early in the race, but he seemed to struggle to like bring the front end of the car around, and just had to wait so long. Would have felt like an eternity to get on the throttle there.
Yeah, it did seem that, didn't it? And look at the time he's lost already. I think there again, we're seeing the advantage of those soft tyres. Zatici's already pulled a second on Nathaniel Powers and is closing up to the back of his teammate.
Yeah, he's now he's again bringing those tyres back to him. I think I'd like to see if we're going to have any team orders. Obviously, I know you say that they are free to race, but you've got to wonder with different strategies at play, and looking to bounce back with a win. I wonder if maybe that might change.
Yeah, it would certainly seem to be the sensible call, wouldn't it, to allow Zatici through? But we'll see what happens, as up front, Alar Kanga has now started eating into the advantage that Enrique Ruiz holds. It's the gap down to about 1.3 seconds, but Ruiz still doing a fantastic job here. Kanga needs to be taking a lot more time than that if he's going to make this work.
Yeah, what he needs to do is try and get up to Ruiz so he can like actually begin to battle him, because once they begin to battle, yeah, sure, you know, Kanga's going to lose that time if he doesn't get the position straight away, but suddenly Ruiz, after Kanga makes his stop, Ruiz will be vulnerable to Simon, to Klaas. Like, you know, he can't afford to let him have this buffer over the rest of the field, or when Kanga pits, he's not going to be able to threaten him. Yeah, exactly that. And I think yeah, he very much needs to be ahead, doesn't he, before he dives in. As there we see a new fastest lap from Alar Kanga. He's beaten the benchmark by Zatici. It's still a 12.7, but it's only 6 thousandths off knocking it down. It's gotta say,
certainly
that
pushing.
Is an impressive effort. Yeah, obviously, you know, Zatici set his in clear air. And if anything, Kanga's got a little bit of dirty air coming off of Ruiz off the front. So, yeah, pretty impressive stuff there from Kanga. Obviously, he does know how to win races. Let's not forget Japan 2020 with the Lopez team, who unfortunately did not make it this time. And look, it looked like Ruiz was struggling through the hairpin there. And look at the time now Kanga's getting. He's really settling in.
He is, yeah. He's taking tenths out of the Brazilian now. Every lap, a bit of a slide there, suggesting maybe the tyre's starting to go away as he's pretty much drifting around nearly every corner now, isn't he, Kanga? But he's still finding the time. Gap now down to 6-7 tenths. A big slide there into the stadium section, but again, he's catching it, and again, he's still gaining time on Ruiz.
This is a sensational display of skill. Watching Kanga just dance that car around the circuit. He's not even on the limit of grip. He keeps on pushing past it, but he's finding that time. As you say, he's finding the pace, and he is chunking now.
Look at that, 12.4 from Kanga.
He's in the zone, Bradley. This is a special display that we're being treated to today.
Ala Kanga absolutely bossing this at the moment. He's now just half a second back from race leader Ruiz. 3.5 seconds up the road from Adrian Simon in a car that's not even close on paper to the Mathieu Porsche. And this is sublime from Kanga, as he is right with the race leader. He could barely be closer.
Did you see that confidence as well on the braking there, Bradley? He just so much later into that braking zone than Ruiz. Sharper turning. He's really dialed into this circuit, and I don't want to jinx it, but I've got a really good feeling about Kanga if he can keep this up.
Yeah, he's certainly putting on an excellent display so far, isn't he? It's what's going to be crucial is where he feeds out. I think when he makes his pit stop in what we expect to be probably a handful of laps time. But can Kanga clear Ruiz in the meantime and escape up the road a little bit? You sense if he gets into some clear air, he'll start to open the gap fairly quickly.
Yeah, I mean, just based on his lap time alone, their last lap was a 1:12.4. Before that, the fastest lap was a 1:12.7. The only person that was able to really sort of set that was Atici. So he really is. He's just the fastest man on track right now. He's got the most grip, and here we go. Then he's got a decent launch off of that corner here. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, surely he has to have a look then. Ala Kanga in the wheel tracks of Enrique Ruiz down to the hairpin. He doesn't do the move. No, behind them, Klaas van Schnauwert is very, very close to Adrian Simon, but again thinks better of it as he's now got his teammate right up, tucked up behind his rear wing as well.
Yeah, I think Simon is obviously he had his win last time out, so I think we just saw Addison lose the place to Giordano. Yeah, Simon obviously won last time out in Britain, and he will be riding the high of that, but he's also a smart driver. He knows that if he doesn't have the pace, the next best thing he can do is give his teammate that buffer so he has less to worry about. Obviously, there's only so long he'll be able to do that for, as driving defensively wears your tyres out, wears you out as a driver. It saps your focus, but obviously these guys are professionals, so he'll do that for as long as he can. And just, you look at the gap he's giving Ruiz, really.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you got to eye up, isn't it? Kanga's racing Ruiz, but he's on a different strategy, so we're not going to see how that plays out really until the end of the race. It's between Ruiz and Simon the gap, and that's up to over 4 seconds now, and that's some advantage for Ruiz to have over his immediate closest rivals. As here we go again then, Ala Kanga slightly closer still this time. Is he going to try anything into the hairpin? He's closing such, and he goes late, he dives down the inside. Ala Kanga goes on Ruiz and takes the lead of the hairpin. Ala Kanga for Phoenix leads here in Germany.
And Alex Easton and Sven Schubert are going to be absolutely jumping for joy. Phoenix are leading a V-Prix. I will stay on pace because at the moment, before we see the strategy play out, the soft tyres are looking better, but Atici is not making nearly as much of an impact as Kanga is here. So very impressive stuff from both Phoenix and Kanga, and I cannot wait to see how this plays out. Watch that gap go up now. Yeah,
this is outstanding so far from Ala Kanga, and he now needs to absolutely knuckle down, get the hammer down, and pull out as big an advantage as he can on not only Ruiz but the rest of the field as well. It's 7 tenths in about half a lap. I don't think it's unfair to say he probably wants a good 2-3 seconds before he dives in.
Oh, 100%, and it's a big ask. Obviously,
it's
with the pit window, we're expecting between laps 17 and 20. That's going to be tight there. He's only really got maximum 5 or 6 laps there where he can really get the most out of these tires, and he might have just spent a bit too much trying to stay with Ruiz and trying to put the hammer down. But we'll see. That's all we can do.
Absolutely. As here we've got James Vazquez then. That's Vazquez, the 2 Ocelots. That was a clumsy move from Judah. That was a sort of a Zatichi half-assed attempt, wasn't it? He thought about it way too late into the corner and just bumped over the curb on the inside, cost him both time. But that was James Vazquez then, in 8th place in the Ingram, coming under pressure from Yukumi Takahashi, the Japanese star, who put in a sensational performance in qualifying to take 7th very late on. It was one of the last laps of the session. It was a great run from the Japanese driver. But yeah, it looks like he's got the pace to at least stick with Vazquez at the moment.
Yeah, obviously, I think I remember you saying that actually Takahashi was the only driver bar Ruiz who was able to improve at the death of the session there. With Ruiz obviously setting the lap good enough for pole position. If that sort of to give you an indication there of just how strong that lap was from Takahashi, but yeah, hopefully he can, Arrow haven't had the best...
Sorry, just Koshi Klaas looked strong. He was looking to the inside there at the hairpin. No, pulls back in behind Adrian Simon. I feel like that was an opportunity. That was a huge opportunity there.
Yeah, it almost just looks like he maybe topped out there because he seemed to stop gaining. As here we go, Giordano up the inside, a much more determined move there on his teammate, bouncing over the curbs, and he does take 10th place, the last point scoring position.
He does indeed. Just on teammate, sorry, just going to cover, Thunstrom has passed Nathaniel Powers at some point as well. So obviously Thunstrom on the softs, Powers on the medium, so he's
I see.
Got that one done, starting to close on the car ahead.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking back up ahead then, that is, so just seeing Kanga, the times between him and Ruiz. Ruiz is keeping him very honest. Kanga, I think, may have spent the best of his tyres here. And I don't think he's going to get that gap that he wants going into the pits. I think it's going to be a lot tighter.
Yeah, I think you're right. He was tucked up behind Ruiz for a good number of laps. So, yeah, definitely think he's used a good portion of the life that he's got in those tyres. Anything he can gain out of this now is crucial. I suppose what they'll really be looking for is to try and come out. I'm just looking down the field. Where are the gaps? Potentially,
honest, I reckon
if they get a really short pit delta ahead of Vazquez, but I think that's asking a lot.
That's asking a lot, but what's crucial is there is a nice about 5-second gap of clear air opening up where Matson is currently, and I just wonder if that's what Kanga's going to be aiming for, because I think I'll be guessing at the pit delta here, but that would be around 19 to 25 seconds. I think roughly is sort of a pit delta he can adhere to and still make that gap. So I reckon that might be what they're going for at Phoenix, just pushing a little bit, saving a little bit for those last couple of laps to try and make that gap, because we've seen the effectiveness of these tyres in clear air, Bradley.
Yeah, absolutely, and that is 100% what he's going to want. Although I'm going to disagree with you, I don't think Phoenix will be knowing what they're doing down on the pit wall. They'll just be be that classic thing of papers in the air, and they'll all be running around going, we didn't plan for this.
I think you could be right, to be honest. Obviously, they've... when was the last time we had Phoenix in a position as strong as this? Let's not jinx them too hard, but it was Dubai Autodrome where they really looked on it there with Zylander last season, I think.
Yeah, he came within a lap or so of taking a podium, didn't he?
That was
and obviously here last year, Zylander was on pole.
He was, yes, to be fair. So there must be something about the German V-Prix that really suits the Phoenix boys there, as Simon is still soaking up the pressure from the Downton boys, very much acting as the rear gunner in a very successful manner here for Porsche Mattershore today.
He is indeed, and Zatichi still hasn't made his way past his teammate then. Klaas van Schnellheid still not making his way past Adrian Simon, so it kind of feels like they're really costing themselves here. Adrian Simon now over 5 seconds back from his teammate in one stint.
That is rough. We're well, not quite halfway through. We're nearly there. So you think he I suppose trying to do the maths there. He has only lost, to be fair, there about... I'm not doing the maths for that. But he has... when you sort of space it out over 20 laps, it doesn't look like much. As here we go. Class maybe looking for. Here we go. Yeah, he's going up the inside. Yeah, and he gets that move done really confident under braking there, Class. He looks like he's been shaping up that move for a while. He saw him have a look a couple of laps ago, and he does actually dispatch the Frenchman. So he's now going to set about trying to close that gap to Rees. But look at that. That's a 6-second gap that he's going to have to overcome.
Yeah. Just that overtake alone then cost them another sort of half a second to a second to Enrique Ruiz. And yeah, Class French Noah left himself with an awful lot of work to do now then if he's going to take this to Enrique.
Yeah, definitely. It's he's I know he's playing a bit more cautious, but that might yet come back to bite him. As
Zetici dives into the pits then. So the first man into the pits is Matteo Zetici. I suppose that's not surprising in a way. He spent a lot more of this opening stint behind cars than Alar Kanga has, but this is going to give Phoenix a really good idea of where Kanga will feed back out, and it's going to give us a really good idea of where Kanga will feed back out as well then. It's 3.6 seconds from Matteo Zetici, and I think he is going to slot nicely into that gap between Kidd and Matson that you mentioned. So, and indeed he does then, Zetici rejoins in 15th. He's got a second or two of clear air. You imagine that will go very quickly indeed, but Kanga's going to come out much further up the road.
Yeah, I was just thinking that Kanga has definitely overshot this gap here that's formed. The only other gap I can kind of see forming is there's a bit of free space between cars from 10th down to 12th.
Yeah.
So maybe they're trying to aim for one of those gaps, but you know, I suppose the further up you get in the traffic, the better when you do eventually make your stop. But yeah, we'll see.
Did either of us pay attention to what the pit delta actually was?
No, but I'll check it out for you.
Kanga dives in then. From the lead of the race, the Phoenix man is into the pits, and this has to be absolutely perfect from the British crew. And where will Alar Kanga feed back out then, as there's a yellow in sector 2. Kanga hits his marks in the box. We'll see what that is in a minute. Thunstrom dives in. I think it's Johan Halverson who's come a cropper in. Indeed he is. Yeah, there we go. We see the Dane recovering. Kanga, it's a clean stop. 3.5 from Phoenix. Pretty quick. And he's going to feed out. He's going to feed out just behind Takahashi then. So Takahashi and Vasquez, he's only got 2 cars in front of him. And then he's got 8 seconds of clear air. That's not as bad as it could have been for Alar Kanga, but you feel they'd have absolutely wanted to be ahead of those 2 cars.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, look at the difference there. Whereas Zatici's been sort of...
this is going to hamper him. He was looking for the move on Takahashi then, but Takahashi's made an overtake himself on James Vasquez. The Japanese driver down the inside takes 5th position from Vasquez. That is huge disappointment from Kanga. He almost definitely would have cleared at least one of them there, as this is the replay on board with Johan Halverson then. So, what happened there?
He's lost it on his own. It's not been the strongest season for Halverson here, and that just makes a bad season worse. As here we go, Perez also just lost the rear. Oh, that might have been a failure. That looks like a failure there.
I don't know. He's carried on. They both had. Just Perez tries really bad. That's a shocking recovery.
What's the donut version of, or the flick spin version of it's like Ricardo Rosset trying to flick spin at Monaco in the 90s. It just wasn't happening. Yeah,
that was shocking. We've seen Kanga's pass Vasquez. We've missed that one watching the replays, and he's surely going to do Takahashi down into the hairpin now. And then we'll really see what Kanga can do. He's, this is going to be easy, isn't it? It's like taking candy from a baby. Kanga pulls out. He's going to be through before the braking zone. He is. He pulls back in front even to take the race in line. Beautiful from Alar Kanga. As behind him, Zetici and Thunstrom making moves as well, but they can't because that's Taylor down inside. Thunstrom on Zetici. That's brave and that's late and that's beautiful from the Swede. And he takes 11th place.
Yeah, fantastically. That's pure instinct. That is nothing.
Zetici comes back at him. He's not having that. Zetici is not having that. He throws it back up the inside of Thunstrom, but Thunstrom holds the position.
Yeah, I've got to say, these two, we've seen some great scraps between them all the way through junior categories.
Very lucky to hold on to that was the Italian.
But we saw these guys battle it out at the top in VWRS before.
Look at that time from Kanga! It's an 11.4!
By the way, I did take note of the pit delta. I do believe we're looking at about an 18-second pit delta, so that is really strong there for those guys making that extra stop.
It certainly is, yeah. But So we are at a level playing field now, aren't we? Everyone has, apart from those on the hard tyres, but I don't think there are any that are really in contention. Everyone has. Well, you say that actually. Matsson's 13th. Matsson's on the hard tyres. We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, they've all pretty much got one stop to go. So this is how far can Kanga get now? As there, Zatici goes back down the inside of Thunderstrom, boxes him in behind Nick Addison, and Zatici gets the Australian as well and goes past 2 for 1.
Yeah, it's going to feel like, 12 months ago is going to feel like a long time ago for Nick Addison there. Winning this race last time out as he gets overtaken by another car. That's Thunderstrom the inside. Oh, what a beautiful move. Yeah,
that was lovely. Thunderstrom had the traction there on those fresh soft tyres to get that move done. You can really see the advantage they've got now. Alar Kanga 4 seconds clear of Takahashi in a lap and a half. He's absolutely flying. Up front as well, take note, Klaas van Snelheid has taken between half a second and a second out of Enrique Ruiz, the advantage that he had.
Yeah, so those two seem actually fairly matched for pace. Ruiz maybe just lost a little bit of tyre life trying to battle with Kanga, but yeah, Klaas, I gotta say, he does need to pick up the pace a bit more if he wants to overcome the Brazilian today, I think.
Yeah, definitely. He's closing, but not enough to actually put himself into contention, I don't think, at the moment. As here we see 100%. Puccio Giordano pressuring Stefan Klein on the hard tyre, so Klein... Sorry?
I said, go on, Pucci.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, this will be a fairly easy move, you'd imagine, for Giordano in a faster car on a faster tyre, and indeed it is. And he goes through and he pulls back in and takes the racing line for the corner.
Look at that, that's Zientech back in the background there. Zientech holding up the North Stars, a couple of AMRs. He's got a Westwood a couple of seconds behind him. He's putting in a decent drive there so far as the pole. Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do, Bradley. But no, it is nice to see Zientech, obviously his second race now in Formula Virtual, and he's not making mistakes. He's driving maturely. He
qualified Zylander again.
Wrong. He did, yeah.
2 for 2.
Which was very impressive. Zylander, who's and he did this last year at some point. He's become a little bit anonymous the last couple of races.
Did he do this last year?
Was it last? I'm sure at some point last year he sort of he'd been having these sort of standout performances and he kind of fell off a little bit at one point. I could be mistaken. If I am, get in the comments, let me know. But
I can't remember. But
that's a smooth pass.
Yeah, it's an easy move for Zatici. Doesn't quite feel confident enough to come back over and take the racing line for the corner. Stays covering the inside. I don't think it was really as though Will Taylor was going to come back at him. He's on medium tyres that are now 24 laps old. And to go around the outside of a faster car on fresher tyres would have been a hell of an achievement. But yeah, Zatici just feeling the need to cover that one off. But he's through and he's up back into 9th position. Sets off after Hunter Ryan now.
Yeah, that'll just be sort of a little bit of experience, a little bit of personal preference. I mean, yeah, you might say he was guarding fresh air against that, but all it takes is the wrong drive to send up the inside on old tyres, and you aren't covering it, and suddenly you're either headed for an accident or you've got to take massive evasive action. So, but it also may just be, yeah, he's not really that confident, just making sure he's got the move stuck, and he wants to really make sure that is covered off. By the way, he has got the move done now, so he'll be just sort of only looking forward, never back. Kind of like Star Trek.
Yeah, absolutely. He's now cleared well away from Will Taylor and sets off after Hunter Ryan. Maximilian Thunderstrom is now surely going to demote Taylor outside of the points. And indeed he does, the Swede, although he doesn't even get it done before the braking zone, actually. He has to do that one on the brakes. But Thunderstrom does go through and pass Will Taylor. As we see up ahead, that is Yukimi Takahashi leading James Vasquez. This pair have now fallen some 9 seconds behind Alar Kanga, he's now under 2 seconds away from 4th place Nathaniel Powers. Kanga coming at the top 4 very, very quickly indeed.
Yeah, he is flying there. I think he's got the centre blood today.
Oh, Kid's down the inside of his teammate. That's a beautiful move in front of the Mercedes grandstand.
Bear in mind as well, I know Havison had that spin, but that means that now these guys have the same number of pit stops left to make.
Ouch. And
that is
Kid, despite starting ahead, had a really rough start and was a fair few places behind Halverson.
Yeah, all it took was that one silly mistake, though, wasn't it, Bradley? So
it was indeed. It's
unfortunate.
I tell you what, this year so far isn't doing Johan many favours, is it?
Well, no. Obviously, he's always been regarded as, a very solid driver, very impressive. But I'm starting to wonder if the company of Gabriele Garcia and the other North Star might have been flattering the Dane a little bit. As we know he's a solid driver. Here we go. And here's a move then. That is the AMR of Schneider going up the inside of the Entech and passed onto the racing line. Bish bash bosh. He says thank you very much.
Yep, nicely done. And the Finn Schneider moves himself up into 16th position then. As we go back to Nathaniel Powers, who now has Alar Kanga for company.
There
the Estonian has closed the gap to under half a second, and surely Kanga's going to do this into the hairpin.
He definitely has to. If he just sets himself up for a nice exit there, that's his bread and butter here. Obviously, Powers will know that though. Powers, don't forget, is one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. He's definitely not going to be a sucker for this kind of attack. But
he's not. But I also think he knows he's smart enough to not fight this one, and I don't think he will. As tell you what, Kanga doesn't go for it. Kanga's held position, and I don't understand that one at all. He absolutely had the pace there to do it.
Yeah, obviously every lap where they hesitate, the soft runners, for example, here again, Zatichi. I wonder if maybe we saw this at the start of the race where they reached certain points of the stint where they just seem to lose confidence in the tyre. So maybe they're having that where the tyre's just coming away from them a little bit there, and they're just having to either cool them or just manage that wear so that they don't just go all out and ruin their race. Yeah,
could well be, but it's not helping. It's not helping Kanga at all. What he needs to do is clear Powers and then go through that phase of the tyre in clear air is probably the best thing for him. He takes a far too tight line into turn one, and that's cost him a little bit of time there. And he just needs a clean run here and clean exit, and he'll be through and past Powers comfortably, you'd imagine.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, he's got better traction, better grip, more comfortable on the braking, but and he's got the same power unit as well. So there's no real.
There we go. Powers covers the inside line ever so slightly, and again Kanga doesn't go for it, and this is costing him all the time he sits here. This is costing him a shot at what you have to imagine is the win of this race.
And yeah, if I've got to say, if this doesn't come through for Kanga, he's going to be watching those replays afterwards, and he's going to be kicking himself. He's been driving outstanding all race. He needs to keep that up. We've got 20 laps left. Everybody has to make one stop except for the hard runners, as you mentioned. So he really needs to sort of dig deep and find something there, because clear air is not going to be enough to save him when the mediums are on those fresh tyres coming back at him.
He's about 12 seconds behind Ruiz. So you said it was about, what, 18 on the pit stop delta?
Yeah.
So at the moment he has a 6-second advantage, but he has to make another stop, and that would then leave him 12 seconds to make up in the final stint.
Whoa,
as Kanga goes now at the inside of turn 2, and that's a very unusual place to be making an overtake, and that might well cost him, but actually maybe it hasn't. Maybe it's hurt Powers a little bit more then, because Kanga is so close now. Surely he has to do it into the hairpin this time. But no, Powers feints across to the inside and Kanga backs out of it.
Yeah, Kanga just seeming a little intimidated here, which is strange. Obviously, as I mentioned, we've seen him win races. As Zatichi here is trying to go around the outside, actually gets out-dragged by the Ocelot.
Yeah.
Is unable to make that move, but he tries it under braking. He's got to defend from Thunstrom instead as he clatters over the curb on the inside.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. We're not seeing that.
Up the inside, here we go. Yeah, you saw that coming. He's liking that move a little bit this race. He's definitely gone for it. He went for it on Thunstrom to hit him back a couple of laps ago. Very nice stuff. As the timing board there marks 20 laps remaining to complete.
Crikey, that's gone quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has and all.
Yeah, still the medium tyre runners haven't pitted then. And Kanga, I'm sure, will be absolutely desperately hoping they do any minute soon just to get rid of Powers in front of him. Because he just can't seem to get the...
Again!
Yeah, again he goes to the inside at turn 2. And it's like he's trying unusual moves here on Powers. Powers, obviously, as we see, he keeps feinting to the inside, down into the hairpin, trying to put Kanga off, and it keeps working. So Kanga trying other places, but they're just not coming off. And again,
here we go,
surely Kanga, there we go. Kanga keeps his foot in this time to the inside of Nathaniel Powers. And finally, through into fourth goes Alar Kanga. But that has cost him 3 laps of time that, I mean, he'd be on the back of Simon now.
Yeah, he definitely would. He's definitely got the pace to be closing up like that, and he's, you know, the pace loss baffling powers there. He might rue that come the end of the race, but I do think he can be proud of the overtake he finally got done. It was very clever, because I sort of noticed the first time I was doing it, that by sticking the car on the apex.
Oh, Ruiz pits.
Oh, Ruiz
pits from the lead. There we go. So yeah, Klaas French now follows him in, as does Adrian Simon. So all of the top three are through then. Kanga carries on, as does Nathaniel Powers. So Kanga will be very glad that he's got past now, having seen Powers go a lap extra than everyone else. But yeah, in come the top three then.
Even longer.
It's a slightly longer stop from Ruiz, 4.3, but it's not much quicker from Downton. 4.1 for Klaas and 4.3 for Adrian Simon as well then. 21 seconds total in the pit lane for Ruiz, so a little bit longer then it seems than some of the other guys. Ruiz is out and clear air. Klaas Van Schnellheid is not. He's side by side with his teammate. He puts Tatici on the grass. The Italian keeps his foot in, keeps it around the outside. The two down and still wheel to wheel. Tatici will not at all appreciate that one, and they're going to go side by side down the straight. Well, the curved straight. It's not really straight at all, is it? Into the hairpin. Tatici on the outside line. Klaas Van Schnellheid will surely hold position there, and indeed he does as Simon fends off Maximilian Thunstrom. But wow, that was not what Downton would have wanted to see, what Tatici would have wanted to see, and surely he'll be having words with his teammate after that one.
Yeah, when was the last time we saw tensions properly boil over like that? Well, not even tensions boiling over, just when was the last time we saw treatment like that of a teammate at Downton? That it's always been fairly respectful, so Klaas really
he's really trying to establish himself there, wasn't he, it felt? But
yeah,
I don't think he needed to. Tatici is not in the same race as their Takahashi and Vasquez. Peel into the pits then, as does Nathaniel Powers. So we are back running. It's Alar Kanga leading. He's got 7 seconds over Ruiz. But if we see the pit stop times, he's going to need about 21 seconds, I think.
He's going to be doing a lot of
Ruiz is closing the gap.
Oh, he is, isn't he? Yeah, with those fresh tyres. And obviously Ruiz again has the fresh air, the clean air. So Simon, is that Simon looking for a move there on Tatici?
I think it is, yeah. The Frenchman eyeing up Matteo Tatici. Yeah, I think the soft tyres are going off, aren't they? As, oh, mind you, Kanga has opened that up ever so slightly. But look how much time that little incident with his teammate and being stuck behind Takahashi and Vasquez for a lap has cost Klaas Van Schnellheid. He's now 9 seconds behind Ruiz. That gap was down to 5 by the pit stops.
Wow. Sorry, I just sort of like I was like, hang on. Trying to do the maths of that, but not working. But yeah, Klaas, I've got to say, it's looking less and less likely he's going to be, because obviously Ruiz definitely has the BC for him here. So if there is going to be a medium tired winner,
wow,
it's hard to look past the position. Well, never mind. I'll just shut my mouth then, won't I? Yeah.
As Klaas Van Schnellheid says the fastest lap, and immediately turns about, proving us wrong.
I don't even care. You act like I care, like it doesn't matter. So let's just move on.
Or just you can see it actually. I was just calculating the time. At the point I calculated it, Kanga was 16 seconds clear of Klaas Van Schnellheid. That gap's down to 14 now.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, that's concerning for Kanga.
Ruiz and Van Schnellheid coming at Kanga very quickly here indeed.
Well, Kanga's only going to have 10 laps on fresh tyres to actually make that impact. And if he's losing time the whole way there, you know, you've got to wonder if this might have been just a bit too ambitious of a strategy. Don't be wrong, like, Kanga's doing everything he can. He's driving supremely, but yeah, just got to wonder if it's enough.
Look at that gap now, under 6 seconds between Kanga and Ruiz. The Brazilian putting in a stellar drive here so far. But yeah, I think those on the soft tyres have gone too far in each stint, really, haven't they?
Yeah, definitely pushing the tyres too much. Because, like I say, you know, they could have been doing lap 17, 34 pit stops and still comfortably made it to the end, kind of thing. Instead, we saw, what, 20 lap stint in the first stint. They'll probably mirror that in this stint, maybe 19 laps. And they're going to leave themselves with no time to capitalise on that final stint, the extra fresh rubber they'll have.
Absolutely that, and you can see the time they're losing now. Tatici fallen 2 seconds back from his teammate. I'm sure he'll probably still be seething under that crash helmet about being put on the grass by his teammate. But he's
yeah,
holding off
don't
Adrian
envy you
Simon
being
so
that
far.
debrief. Yeah, he is doing
Yeah,
a
I'm
good
looking
job.
forward to that one as well.
Can you film it for me? Because we've got Takahashi, I think that is going up the inside of Schneider for 10th place, the last points paying position there.
We'll strike a deal with Netflix, don't worry.
Look at Madsen up in 9th place on his hards. I wonder if he can hang on to this. But oh, what a move from Vasquez. Obviously, he's trying to play defense here for the Ingram team because obviously the more he can... Oh, wow, that's amazing. Two fantastic drivers going hammer and tong.
I think Vasquez got very fortunate there that Schneider got caught on the curb on the inside, and that's why he was able to sweep around the outside. But the commitment there from Vasquez to actually pull that off, wow, indeed. What a move.
He was ready to put them, I'll be honest, he was ready to go into the wall with that move. He was 100%, you know, ride or die on that, and that was it's just brilliant to watch, isn't it? You just love to see it.
Absolutely is, yeah, outstanding. As we now see Schneider's teammate Alexander Zolia stalking Christian Klein. He's on the softs compared to Klein's hards, so probably I was going to say a relatively easy move, but actually we've seen the soft tyres are dropping off, haven't we? And yeah, it looks as though it's going to be a fairly rough weekend for Zolia. Is up front, the gap between the leaders is down to 5 seconds. And nope, the softs still have a significant advantage over the hard tyres. Never mind.
Does Christian Klein have a brother called Calvin? How have I waited so long to make that joke?
That's Stefan Klein.
Is it Stefan Klein? I thought
it's Stefan, not
Christian Klein.
No, Christian Klein was the F1 driver.
He was. Oops.
And yeah. Unfortunately, the clothing maker you're thinking of is Calvin Klein, and it's spelled the other way around. It's E-I.
Yeah, I knew that one, but let me have some of my fun after I just called him Christian, which is just not his name. You know, I'm trying.
I mean, okay, let's try and salvage this for you. Stefan is his Christian name.
What, Stephen? Stefan? Stefano? Stephanie? Short.
Yeah, I give up.
The Steffi Klein here. Yeah, so I was just going to say Ruiz, he's still taking time out of Kanga, but I've got to say, I do like the approach. I think Ruiz knows this race is about, he just needs to make sure he has enough tyres to defend with. He knows Kanga has the pit. He could probably race right up to the back of Kanga. As we've got a yellow flag in sector 1.
Yeah, well, no, the leaders aren't quite going to be there, are they, if we're watching this interval?
No.
They might be, but I can't see anything noticeable on the leaderboard. Perez is 17 seconds off. Oh, I think it's Perez. It is. Oh, that's another huge fire from Ford then. Perez still in the car, but wow, that's gone up spectacularly.
Yeah, that is quite the for it to sort of blow up like that on the exit of turn 1. Here we go. Yeah, just all of a sudden just went. That's incredible. Again, what's that? The third, fourth time we've seen that from Ford power units this season.
Yeah, it's that is not the sort of sight that you want to see. And I think we heard, didn't we, from first that Klein sort of got out with, I think, was it minor burns they reported? They did report some small injuries, didn't they, I believe?
I don't remember, but I would be surprised if there weren't, based on how long it took him to get out of the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully we get word fairly swiftly that Perez is okay after that. But you never want to see a driver engulfed by fire. I mean, obviously, you know, they have all the fire suit and the protection and everything, and it does a fantastic job, but you still never like to see it. There's always that element of risk.
They're only really the kit that they put on it is effective, but only for so long. So that's what it's designed for, to give you, buy you the time to get out. So I think some really serious questions need to be asked now down at Ford power units. They need to figure out what's going on here, because they're now putting drivers in danger. This is the third time, fourth time, as I mentioned, that we've had, or at the very least the second time that a driver has been engulfed in flames due to one of their engines malfunctioning. So
yeah,
serious questions to be asked there. Yeah,
100% agree. Thankfully, it seems as though Perez is now out and clear of the car. As here we see Adrian Simon eyeing up a move on Matteo Zatici's. The soft tyres really going off now then, as Simon goes through and moves himself up into 5th place. And Zatici slips back to 5th position then. But yeah, thankfully it seems like Perez is out of the way. out of the car. The
Yeah.
car is out of the way. It didn't drop any oil, and thankfully, no one ran into him either.
Yeah.
Which is somewhat of a surprise, to be honest, because normally if there's a car stopped slightly off the track, someone does run into him. Yeah, indeed. There we go then. Ala Kanga pits from the race lead. It was only 4 seconds over Ruiz, so that is absolutely going to go back to the Brazilian. And I'll be staggered if Kanga can catch that in 10 laps, but we'll keep an eye on it. Klaas van Schneider will go through into second, but where will Kanga feed back out? Oh, it's a long stop. No, 4.6. It's not brilliant from the Phoenix crew. Simon goes through, and will he get out in front of Powers or not? That's going to be crucial now, and I don't think he will. No, he's going to be behind Nathaniel Powers again.
This might work out for him though. Powers does. Oh no, that not Powers. Thunstrom has to pit. So
yeah,
he does have to do this on track. So let's see if the earlier he gets this done, the better. And hopefully, with how fast these soft tires switch on, he'll be doing everything he can. You know, hitting that overtake to raise the rev limit there. He is looking to the inside now, but he doesn't have that. Oh, he does! He goes for it!
Yeah. Beautiful from Ala Kanga then. He thought to pull back in. He wasn't going to go for it, but he dived out at the last minute and did make the move on Nathaniel Powers. And that was the kind of determination he needed to show earlier in the race that he just didn't. He let Powers get the better of him. He let Powers bully him almost to not making the move, but now he's done it. Now he's made it stick. He's through and straight up into fifth. Thunstrom will surely peel in on his soft tyres at the end of the lap, and that gives Kanga a little bit of clear air. He's got 3 seconds to find to get up to Adrian Simon. So I think a podium is still very much in the offing here for Ala Kanga.
Yeah, definitely. If he can just sort of keep his head down and make some decisive overtakes, as there we go, Thunstrom in the pits, as you predicted. Yeah, he can, I would say, minimum podium. I think a win is still a big ask, don't get me wrong. But, you know, we just need to see this pace differential between the old softs. Again, another long stop there for Thunstrom now.
Yeah,
so I just wonder, by pushing these soft tyres, they might be running out wide. Obviously, the curbs on this track are a little bit harsh, especially on corner exit. So perhaps they're just sort of pushing their luck a bit too much, as that is not a good place for Thunstrom to come out at all. And he'll be
not
hoping
the best of places for Zatichi to be after his stop either.
Oh yeah, true. Zatichi's had a bit of a howler this race, really.
Yeah,
if we've seen sort of how well the softs can perform.
Absolutely. Is he going to loop up the inside of Taylor? He is. Zatichi dives up the inside of Will Taylor, sticks a nose up the inside of John Matson as well, but that was always going to be a brave ass. I'll tell you what though, he might do this in front of the Mercedes grandstand, you know, because he's pretty close to John Matson and he likes this as an overtaking spot, but no, decides to, you know, just maybe look him up it.
Look at how decisive that was from Thunstrom there. Immediately makes that move and dispatches the Phoenix of Taylor, who, gotta say, he's been a bit of absentee, well, not a participant. A 1:11.1 from Kanga, as he's already just on over a second behind Simon. Do you know what, Bradley? If he can get these moves done quickly, don't write him off yet. That is insane lap time he's pulling here.
It certainly is mega pace from Ala Kanga. But
Whoa!
Thunstrom looks to the inside of Zatichi at turn 1 then. That's cost him, because Will Taylor now looks back up the inside of the Swede. But surely Thunstrom's going to have the traction here to just pull away from him around the outside, and indeed he does, yeah. Taylor just doesn't have anything to fight that one with. But that's cost Thunstrom masses of time. He's now not going to be able to follow Zatichi through on Jean Matson. Zatichi way clear and up into 8th places. Will Taylor now comes back at Thunstrom again into the hairpin, and he's done it. Taylor goes back into 10th, and this is not what Thunstrom needed at all.
Yeah, I've got to say, Taylor, I was just about to talk about how absent he's been. He's come alive here all of a sudden. Just now the camera's on him, it's almost like he knows we're watching. He knows he has to drive well. But yeah, no, fair play to the Brit there.
Yeah, very good move indeed from Will Taylor to fight that one back. And look at, you can see how much that's cost Maximilian Thunstrom then. He was right with Zatichi, what, just a lap ago, but that half-hearted move into turn 1 that was never really going to work has cost him 3 seconds in time in a lap.
Yeah, you know, it's, and Kanga doesn't go for that move. Just trying to watch that on the timing screen. But yeah, you know, simple mistakes, indecisiveness. You know, again, he tried to sort of look up the inside, but he knew it was never really on, and he was never really kind of committed to it. So that's what I was talking about. As here we go. Speaking of committed, there is Taylor straight past the Ingram of. Oh, and crucially, Thunstrom doesn't follow him through. Thunstrom now will be stuck behind Matson. Maybe his only chance will be to try and pass in front of the Mercedes-Benz stand.
Yes, yeah, that's it. And he doesn't go for it. No.
No. Look at the time he's going to lose here.
As we go back to the battle for third place then. Adrian Simon defending from Alar Kanga, but surely this is inevitable. Kanga's got so much more pace.
I was going to say, I wonder if Kanga's going to go for that move he tried on Powers, which, as I was talking about earlier, was very clever, forcing Powers effectively to go really tight into turn 3. But he doesn't do it. He thinks he can get Simon on merit here.
I think he can.
And he's
pulls out, and Kanga with a lot more pace, already on the inside line, forces Simon to the outside, and Kanga goes through fairly comfortably to take back a podium position then for himself and Phoenix.
Whoa,
and will now drive away from Adrian Simon. Look at the traction he's got, that's incredible. He's now got 5 seconds, well 5.5 seconds to close down Klaas van Snelheid for P2.
Yeah, I've got to say, unless he's lapping like 3 seconds a lap faster, as we've got that Thunstrom going up the inside, and he's already passed, but he does defend there. I suppose he's probably trying to cover off Hunter Ryan there, I reckon, but yeah, good move from Thunstrom. Moves himself up into a point scoring position, that is, scoring position.
Got my line.
Better than none. Yeah, good move there from the Swede, but yeah, Kanga. I just wonder if it's those laps that, as you mentioned earlier, behind Powers that might have cost him. Obviously, he spent longer than he should have behind Seymour. I just wonder if that's he might have had a shot here, but it would have always been tight, I reckon.
Yeah, I think Ruiz was going to be a hell of an ask. I mean, he's absolutely taking time out, but he's not taking masses. He's taken way more out of Simon than he is the 2 guys in front of him.
Yeah.
That gap's still floating between 4.5 seconds. So I think he might just reach Klaas van Snelheid, but if he does, it's going to be literally, I think, 1 attempt on the final lap is all he's going to get at this. But looking further back, Zatici, I think, is the one we got to watch out for. And yeah, there we go. He pulls out on James Vasquez, and Zatici makes that decisively and goes through into 7th place on the Colombian.
Look at the time he's gained on Thunstrom, though, Bradley. Look at that. It's ridiculous.
Well,
is up the inside goes Hunter Ryan?
Yeah, Thunstrom's just not been making the moves, has he? And he's right up behind Will Taylor now, but hasn't been able to get him on this lap. So again, Thunstrom's just going to be losing more and more time. I think Zatici will recover to 6th here as Giordano with a very late move up the inside of Matson. That was beautiful from the Italian.
That was a lovely move. You know, Giordano's looked we've seen flashes of his brilliance this season, but he's not seen sort of himself at a lot of races, as we see a very lonely Brazilian out in front of the field there. He's not even using the whole track. He's just backed off. Do you know what? He's in Sunday cruise mode.
He's just stroking it home, isn't he now?
Well, Bradley, steady on. But yeah, you're absolutely right. He's just making sure he gets.
You sound like you're stroking it home.
I'm always stroking at home, Bradley. You know me. Those last 5 laps, which we are in now, those are the best ones.
Yeah, Ruiz looks comfortable, doesn't he? Here as
so does Klaas, really.
Yeah, well, Kanga is catching. He's taking a second out of him. As I say, this is going to come down to the final lap. I think Kanga will be with him.
I don't think he has enough. I don't think he's going to be close enough for a move. I think he'll close up right to the back of him by the end of the race. But I don't think he gets close enough for a move on the last lap.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we? He's not been the most decisive into the hairpin, has he? So if Klaas can just put him off a little, I think he might be right. He might well hold on to this. But let's not forget, this is Klaas van Snelheid in Germany. He's retired twice from a podium position within the last handful of laps here before. So
well, now you've done it, Bradley.
You know, I'm not going to count our chickens just yet.
Do you know what? Can we just sort of take a moment to appreciate Takahashi? You know, he put in a fantastic lap in qualifying, and yeah, sure, I do reckon he's going to lose this spot to Zatici. But you know what? A stellar weekend there from the Japanese driver. He's also really sort of soaking up this pressure from the rookie Italian. Obviously, in what we know is a much faster car. He's driven superbly all race. Look at where his teammates ended up compared to him. This has been another one of those masterclasses from Takahashi. Yes, unfortunately, he is about to be overtaken, but hats off there.
Even 7th place would be an outstanding result for both Takahashi's best result is further back. We'll just cover this. We've got Giordano on his teammate down the inside. Hunter Ryan obviously doesn't fight that too hard. Giordano is desperately hunting after a point. He's got 4 seconds to catch up to Will Taylor. That might be a bit of an ask, but we'll keep an eye and see how he does. He's got 3 laps.
Yeah, he's starting lap 48 now, I think. So, well, not now, but like he will be starting lap 48. So, yeah, we'll see.
We'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, outstanding drive from Taka. This is going to be far and away his best result in Formula Virtual, the team's best result in Formula Virtual. Let's not forget, I think before this they've only had a number of 10th place finishes. Takahashi comfortably been best of the rest so far this weekend, behind the 2 Downtons, the 2 Matthew Porsches, and Kanga and Powers.
Yeah, he really has. He's made the most of Thunstrom and Taylor being slightly off their game, and
and Ingram not really being with it this weekend.
Yeah, really disappointing for them after they'll be sort of glad that they were able to get some points last weekend where they weren't really as well looking on pace. Really, they were close, but they weren't on pace properly of Phoenix and Lucas. So that was a saving grace. But I think here they've been punished a little bit. They haven't quite turned up and been able to get that performance in.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's weird how they seem to be dropping off slightly, but it's very much, I think, track dependent between these drivers, isn't it? As there we see, that's Nick Addison, isn't it? Has he just lost a position to Finn Schneider, I think?
Sure.
Schneider is on the soft, so I'd imagine so. Yeah. I've lost my train. Yeah, I think it's very track dependent in the battle for third between Phoenix, Lucas, and Ingram, because every race we go to, it seems as though a different one of the teams is quickest.
Yeah, and that's what makes the battle so great, is that, we have different tracks that are playing to different teams' advantages, and they have to just kind of live with that and make that work. And obviously here we're seeing this seems to be Phoenix's weekend. I don't think Kanga's going to get any further up. He's just seeming to struggle for lap time here. He seems to be going through a bit of a phase now with the tyres where they're just not giving him the grip that he wants. He's closing though, he's piling the pressure on, but could it be too little too late?
Yeah, it just seems to be tailing off ever so slightly, doesn't it, for the Estonian, as Enrico Rees goes on to start the final lap of the race here in Germany. And Klaas van Schnauwheid does have it. He's still got a 2.5 seconds back to Kanga.
Yeah.
Kanga won't be close enough by the time they get to the hairpin. I'd be very surprised if he was close enough by the time they got to the Mercedes grandstand. So yeah, I think Klaas is probably safe here until his engine goes pop.
Yeah, maybe. But do you know what?
I'm still expecting it.
Those laps behind Powers, you think 2 laps behind Nathaniel Powers there?
I think it was 3, wasn't it?
3? Oh, it might have been 3 to be fair, but yeah, 2, 3, either way. How much further up the road do you reckon?
Well, I think I noted at the time it cost him about 5 seconds.
Yeah, so maybe
and
still
plus,
not a
that
shot
then
at the
cost
win,
him additional time when he came out his second stop behind Vasquez and Takahashi. Had to get past those guys again. So yeah, I think he could have been right with Ruiz had he just been a little bit more decisive today.
I still think Ruiz was too far out of reach there, but
yeah, I agree. There's the yellow flag. No, it's sector 1. It's not going to be Klaas, but it's Enrico Rees then who rounds the final corner to take the win here in Germany. It's Porsche Mattershall's 4th victory in a row, but it's Ruiz this time after Simon took it last time out. Klaas van Schnauwheid does take 2nd place. He continues his podium streak then, and for the first time ever stands on the rostrum here in Germany. But an outstanding drive from Alar Kanga to take the final podium position for Phoenix. It could, perhaps should have been more for the Estonian driver and the British team, but it wasn't to be. Still a great result for them. They will be delighted with only their 2nd ever podium. Adrian Simon 4th ahead of Powers, and Zatichi recovers to 6th. Then Takahashi with his and Arrow's best ever result in 7th place. Vasquez holds off Maximilian Thunstrom, who recovers to 9th, and Will Taylor does hold on to the final point. Giordano in the end got absolutely bloody nowhere near him.
Yeah, I mean, he caught him by about a 1.5 seconds, which is like decent going, but yeah, definitely wasn't on the pace. But yeah, another great performance from Porsche Mattershall, another great performance from Ruiz, but yeah, some really great performances, to be honest, from a lot of drivers up and down the field. But yeah, as you say, 4 on the bounce for a team that is looking in imperious form now. Absolutely.
And I think despite the fact the orders ended up fairly similar to what it started, that was actually a cracking race.
Yeah, it ended up a similar order to how it started, but in a fun way.
Absolutely. And we like those, that we do.
I love fun.
We always enjoy a good race, regardless of the result, as Enrique Ruiz makes his way back to the pits to start the celebrations and the podium. Here come the drivers out onto the podium then. In third place for his first podium appearance of the season for Phoenix Motorsport, it's Alar Kanga. In second place for his 7th consecutive podium finish for the Downton FV team, Klaas van Snelheid. And onto the top step then for the 3rd time in 4 races for Coca-Cola Porsche team Mattershore, Enrique Ruiz. And in his honour, the Brazilian national anthem. So there we have it then. It's Ruiz and Mattershore who win here in Germany. Porsche will be very happy with that at their home race. It's a 4th consecutive win for Mattershore ahead of Klaas van Snelheid and Kanga. You have to feel he maybe missed out on something more there, but still a podium is a brilliant return for Phoenix. Yukumi Takahashi, we have to talk about him. A fantastic drive from the Japanese star to pick up 7th place and 6 crucial points for Arrow. Kanga also picked up fastest lap as towards the bottom we see the unfortunate retirement of Perez, obviously after that fire. Brock Kidd, who retired late on. And that is a big change in the Drivers' Championship then. Klaas van Snelheid still leads with the gap now 13 points between him and Ruiz. Simon third, but 48 points back. It is very quickly becoming a 2-horse race as we approach the halfway stage of this season. Nathaniel Powers is up to 6th in the championship. Alar Kanga has moved up 3 places. He is into 7th, and that battle for 5th as well is heating up. Yukumi Takahashi, with those points, has gained a couple of places as well, but that is more significant for Arrow in the Constructors' Championship. As we see there towards the bottom of the table, the drivers with 0 points. There are no movements amongst them. And in the Constructors' Championship, well at the top, it's now just 2 points. Mattershore are 2 points behind Downton, rapidly closing that gap. Phoenix have gone up to 3rd as Ingram slipped from 3rd to 5th, and their Arrow have moved up from 10th to 8th. The German outfit will be very, very pleased with that indeed, I am sure. But that's all from our race here today in Germany. So from both me and Harry, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time for round 8 from Brno in the Czech Republic.